Woohoo! All right, we got things going. All my tools. Da 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 da. Tweezers, just in case of critter hair. Love our pets, but oh my goodness. All right, so I feel like this is just blue. Let's double check that. Oh no, it's kind of lightly glowing. A little bit more. So hope everyone has been having an amazing week. I'm totally gonna get fuzzums in my clay. Well, there we go. It is packing chilly by us today, man, and we are looking at having an entire week of like single-digit temperatures at night. So keep bundled up and warm, y'all. Cold is no fun. Frostbite is no fun. Though being inside and having hot cocoa with some marshmallows and snuggling up in front of fireplace or on your couch near the heater with a good book, great way to spend those chilly nights. Meantime, daylight hours, my butt is working. So, in the interests of getting a few more gargoyles on the books, I gotta mix some clay. Mixy mixy. Do, 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 do. I am beginning to suspect that my pasta machine is just straight up MIA because I've torn the place apart looking for it, cannot find it. And I have this horrible sneaking suspicion that may potentially have gotten gathered up in some household, can't say spring cleaning, winter cleaning, and gotten put out for recycling, which would really suck, but we'll see. The killer is if I go ahead and get a new one, I know good and gosh darned well that like a week after I get a new one, I'm gonna stumble across my old one. Because that's just sort of the way of things. But since I do not have my pasta roller at the moment, we are on the slice and roll out with a rolling pin method of mixing our clay. It's definitely not my favorite, but you know, you make do. The key to this method, the super, super important key to this method is mind your fingers and don't cut yourself with your X-Acto. Because that sucks and it takes forever to heal, especially in the winter. Skin's already kind of dried out and drinking moisturizer like it's the Sahara Desert. So, don't want to have a cut finger and be out of commission for days, a week. I do love this stone finish clay, but I do like to mix a little bit more into it to get more than just the straight up gray tone. So we're gonna throw some white in there. We're gonna throw some beige tone in there, Sculpey, because I love this stuff for its durability. The Primo's already pretty good, but I'm a fan of mixing my clays to go for kind of a hybrid and have the best kind of aspects of each. I have to say, there is something incredibly satisfying. You can almost hear the X-Acto cutting through the clay. All right. Woof. So, fun fact, when it's cold, Sculpey, Fimo, Primo, most of the polymer clays, tend to be a little harder, a little less workable until you condition them and kind of warm them up a bit. So this is much, much easier with a pasta machine. But we don't have our pasta machine. We don't have Smashy today, so need to make a concentrated effort to find her for the next sculpting session because it makes things a lot easier. Don't need a lot of this. Even just a little bit tends to help with the durability. So we're going to move these off to the side. A little bit. We are going seriously old school today on our clay mixing, which is going to be interesting. Showing up a little bit better on screen. As you can see, we've actually got two different kinds of stone finish polymer clay. One of them's a little bit more kind of translucent with black flecks. The other one is more of an opaque gray, like a lighter, almost a blue gray. think what I'll do to expedite things is I will mix a slightly smaller chunk of the clay for right now. Because the larger a chunk of clay you're trying to mix, the more difficult and time consuming it is, unless you have the proper tools. Can't for the life of me think where I would have put it. It's usually right by my clay doing stuff, my tools, by my sculpting space, and it is not. The joys of ADHD. I put it down. I was using it. Buggered if I could remember where it went. That's all right. We will adapt. I think I need to also invest in a new clay cutting blade because while the X-Acto works fine, it's nice to have a longer chopping blade for something like this, or even if you're doing Millefiori cane work and want to make nice clean slices. Tends to help to have something not quite so short of a blade to do that. Do 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 do. A whole bunch of little sandwich slices. Important note, don't eat your polymer clay. Maybe non-toxic, but it's clay. Is for sculpting, not for eating. Now, I don't mind the swirls of white, but because we added beige to that, I don't want that visible, so I'm gonna it is chilly in the streaming room today, so we've got a fuzzy coat on. Normally I would say heck it and just put the heater on, but the last time I had the computer going and the kid was on their computer in the next room and the heater was running, we popped a fuse. So in the interest of them not getting kicked out of their classroom, I am wearing a fuzzy coat today. It's all right. It's the right kind of year for it. Right time of year for it. Right kind of year for it too. Do, 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 do. Now it's starting to become conditioned. It's better than it was. Whoop, no, I saw you. That's totally a dog hair. Can you guys not? That was a long one too. Wilder, stop wagging your tail and shaking your butt hair into the air. He's got a very long, shaggy tail that goes crazy when he gets excited. And end up with the doggy butt fluff in my clay, which is ideally not where you want it. Oh, buddy, you keep your butt fluff to yourself. We're almost there. You can almost not see individual little bits of the beige in this, so another roll or two, and I think we're good. And then I can add what I want to add to this batch. Okay. Be interesting to see what happens this weekend. We are supposed to get some fairly substantial snow, and when I went to the grocery store yesterday to do my grocery shopping, just regular weekly grocery shopping, it was an experience. Surprisingly, the bread and milk wasn't completely decimated, which I'm kind of used to living on the East Coast. Weather talks about flurries, and suddenly everyone's trying to build their impenetrable forces out of bread, milk, and toilet paper. Ha ha! And now we have a shorter blonde hair. That'd be Hope. Hi, Hope. Yeah. I say her name and those giant ears perk up like, oh, Mom, talking to me. You're talking about me. I can't say the C word, Cookies, because they will lose their ever-loving minds. Thankfully, they've neither of them learned to spell yet. I kind of feel like it's only a matter of time with Wilder. He's got that working breed, herding breed brain, and man, there's times that I'd swear talking to the kid or the partner, and his ears will just kind of perk up. He'll look at you like, I know you're talking about me. I know you're talking about something exciting. There's another one. One is white with black ticking. That's another Wilder. I swear I wiped down my surface before I started. Doesn't matter, pet hair is insidious. It's just how it goes. This is why working with the ceramic clay is a tiny bit easier because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get pet hair in ceramic clay because 2200 degrees tends to burn that into absolute nothingness, which is a very nice perk. Like that's something I should do at some point, like the horsehair raku, do dog hair raku. Goodness knows I am not short of supplies to be able to do that. This is the opal clay, which is very pretty when it's fired, but it does mean it's drier and more crumbly. So I'm going to mix it with translucent. Hopefully that will help make it a tiny bit less frustrating to work with. I've said before, I love this clay. I love the concept of it, but man, the execution. They needed to grind up the iridescent film into smaller bits, I think. And I get the kind of walking the line of you want it big enough to be noticeable and pretty once it's baked, but small enough you can sculpt with it. And I feel like the amount of times I've had to pick a little piece of the iridescent film out of a sculpt because it's preventing pieces from attaching correctly. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe instead of getting opal clay next time, I just get the translucent and I put some iridescent film through like a blender or coffee grinder. It's funny, you never quite know which color of clay is going to be the pudding clay. And what I mean by that is the clay that is already pretty new, like obviously new, because it's very soft. And it's got a high oil content, and it happens a lot with white. It happens with yellow, especially the lighter yellows, but it definitely happens a lot with translucent for me. And I could feel that if I use too much of that, it's going to over condition the clay and end up turning it into pudding. So we're going to move that there, do this here. Look at how pretty that looks. My gosh. This is what I mean. It's a really beautiful clay. It's got all these little shifting iridescent bits. It might not be the easiest stuff to work with, but I can't argue with the results. Shake my entire work surface. Do do do. See, and this is way, way softer than the opal clay on its own. Which is good because hopefully that means that it's going to swirl and marble into the stone clay easier. And it's going to not allow all those little iridescent bits to stick up and be a pain in the butt. You know, I think this is a big enough piece because I want streaks of it in the clay. I don't want it overwhelming. And what I'll do is I will roll this tube out, but I'm gonna roll some areas thicker, some areas thinner, because the goal is to create kind of an irregular look like an actual vein of opal in stone. Kind of like it's banding throughout. Good news is I'll have plenty to do the next block of clay. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of, is that a pet hair? That is, whose hair is that? Let's play the game. Whose fur is this? Short and white. It's Hope's. Yeah. So I swirl this, it'll marble, and we should get some really pretty effects. It just kind of looks like white streaks at the moment, but once it bakes, this goes more translucent. And so it ends up looking like streaks of quartz or opal in the clay. And because it goes more translucent, you see the sparkles more, which is a really, really pretty effect. So we'll roll it so we get that incorporated and mixed in fully, conditioned and melded with the rest of the clay. And we will twirl our noodle of clay. It will pull out. Puppies, you're killing me here. We will pull out, remove puppy hair. We want pretty streaks of opal. We do not want random doggo hairs. Come here. Gotcha. There we go. Good. We fluff free. We are not. I am starting to suspect it is the jacket. I am suspecting that that hair has been, at this point, woven into the jacket. And that me moving my arms around means that those hairs are coming loose. And getting all up in my clay business, which is not ideal. All right. Sacrificing comfort for art. Ugh. Shrugging off the jacket. There we go. I think that's everybody. All right, so now we are going to fold. Oh, that'll be some pretty banding. And I'm just going to use the warmth of my hands to mash this together. I'm not going to mix it this time because we want those bands and chunks and splotches. What I am going to do, rather than mix it, is we're going to use heat of hands to just sort of apply pressure. Make sure all those noodle twists have been melded together into a solid block of clay that's not going to have cracks, splits. One of my favorite tricks too, not really a trick, but just sort of advice if you are a polymer clay sculptor somewhere cold in the winter months. I have to clarify that because if you live in California, you're probably not getting the kind of cold the East Coast is. But I find that my hands get very dry this time of year. So if you're going to sculpt with clay, your hands are a little dry, it's a little cold, just do a little squirt of hand lotion moisturizer. Makes life easier, makes sculpting less painful. Because you could condition your clay. You know, they have oils, liquids that you can add to the clay directly as a clay conditioner. I find that that just makes my clay oily. If I do some hand lotion, then it's moisturizing my hands. And just over the course of sculpting, the clay ends up getting some of the oils incorporated. And since it is an oil-based clay, ta-da, there you go. You have softer, more conditioned clay and softer, more conditioned hands. All right, so what are we going to do with this one? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. For once, I have a very clear, oh, but it's not going to have, I'm torn. I kind of want to do a little jackalope, but I also want to do paw pads. I want to do Pete's. Well, you know what? Heck with it. It's a mythological creature, right? There's no one saying that it has to not have paw pads. Heck with it. I'm an artist. I do what I want. And I want my jackalope to have paw pads. Never mind that neither of the species that they are theoretically created from have paw pads. No, all right. Outwards. Marbling a little better. But in fact, I'm gonna suffer. A little more marbling. Let's move that out of the way. Go. Pardon me for a moment. Sorry, I heard crashing in the other room. Apparently the kid is just spinning in their chair in between classes and crashing into stuff, so that's fun. Oy. What? What are you whimpering about, huh? Oh, hey, that's why it's so quiet in here. Mm-hmm. Sure, let's go with that. we got an air bubble. No, sir. Not a lip. There we go. No, I'm gonna add my mica powder last. This way I decrease the chances that I get it all over everything, because we only want it in that one spot. Here the crows losing their minds outside. And a squirrel running. Oh, I wonder if he's trying to mess with their nests. That would not be a smart move, Mr. Squirrel. Or Mrs. Squirrel, I don't know. I'm not gonna assume the squirrel's gender. Oh yeah. That's a big old crow right outside my window, right near where the squirrel was. That crow is not happy with the squirrel being in the neighborhood for some reason, so I'm gonna assume that the local murder has a nest nearby. And is voicing their displeasure at their fluffy mammalian neighbor. Alright, now I need a set of black beads for eyes. Hi, Wilder. Hi, little meow. Oh, we don't want to do the blue one. I'm gonna attach, I think, your ears first, then I will deal with the eyes, because that way I can attach the ears without having to worry that I'm covering up your eyeballs. Hmm. Sorry, previous music was just jarring and irritating to my ears. Started out okay, but then it just kind of like, meh, not into it. So let's see. Hmm. All right, so let's want to add. What I'm gonna have to do, I think, is cook those antlers and then push them into the uncured clay here. That's gonna be the easiest option. I want to get dipping my tool in a little bit of water because that'll help it kind of glide over the clay and not get stuck. These are more the ears I want. Especially once they're baked and I start adding the moss, having like a little bit of moss around the edges, I think will look really cute. So now that I've got the ears on, we can get our little friend's eyeballs in. Mm, I'm gonna have to make the horns, antlers, smaller. That's okay. All right, so now we're gonna do arms and leggies, and then I will work on doing his cute little face. Hi, Wilder. Hello, baby. Hi. Yeah, actually have a piece. I don't know if you could see it on the camera. Probably not. Oh, there we go. It's this little piece of the plastic iridescent film. very pretty, but when it's sticking straight up like that, doesn't exactly work for the sculpture. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hello. Hello, handsome boy. Doggo is staring at me with those handsome boy eyes. Like, Mother, I would like you to play with me. Yes, buddy, I know. But Mother is working at them. I know. Hi. Hello. I don't know uh if that showed that sound was audible through the stream, but I just got a very definitive Mom. Oh, there we go. There's another one. All right, friends. I will be right back. I have a dog giving me the saddest sad eyes, and I think they need to go potty. Be right back. There we go. All right. Puppy's gone potty. They are back in. They are safe and sound and out of the cold, because holy moly, it is heckin' windy out there. So, let's get back to making our bunny peats. There. And here. Oh, stepped outside with the puppies, and man, that cold definitely kicks you right in your teeth. Okay, so I've got the back leggies. Now I'm gonna sculpt the front legs, and then I will work on detailing the toes and attaching them. I'm taking my time this morning, not rushing, and it's honestly sort of nice. between conventions right now, so I have a little bit of breathing space, and it's not that frantic, produce, produce, produce mentality. It's more of a just kind of sitting here hanging out with y'all and two sleepy puppies at my feet, snoozing away. Got my favorite Beat to Ever Loving Heck hoodie, which does not have cat hair all over it, or if it does, the hoodie is holding it in place instead of being a fuzzy hoodie. It's beat. It is shredded. It's actually starting to split and stitch together, and I don't care. Do you guys have one of those? Like just an article of clothing that very obviously has seen better days. But it's that comfort item. That's this hoodie for me. It's not super heavyweight. It's not really all that warm. It's just a nice lightweight hoodie. It's comfy. It kind of has that, I've had it forever vibe. And it's comforting. All right. Now I'm going to attempt to put on the front arms first. And then we'll get those back leggies going. There we go. Front pubs. It's working. The back one's done, although I think I'm going to mark the toes before I attach these, because once they're attached, it'll be just a little bit harder building the whole critter. So Yes, I'm aware rabbits and hares do not have paw pads. I don't care. It's gonna look cute, and so I'm going for it. Sitting here listening to the doggo snore. Pads that should not exist. Mwahahaha. I kind of want to build up his. I want to build up his thighs a little. I want to add, not a ton, but just like a little band of clay where the thigh meets the heel, just because. Call it an overabundance of caution. Because the feet are so big, I could see that being a spot where cracks or breakage should happen. So because we want these to not only be cute, but be durable. That feels just, I don't know, a little more stable and secure to me. Okay, so now we just need to give our little rabbit friend a mouth and a nose. Rabbit friend, jackalope friend. And we have reached that inevitable stage of, man, it sure would be handy. Telekinesis. Sorry, that little piece of glitter that was sticking up in his mouth was kind of annoying the hell out of me. There we go. There. This water there. These are definitely too big. That's okay. Nice part about uncured clay is you can always smash it and resculpt. And that's what we're gonna do here. This one is just not cooperating. Maybe the clay is getting too warm. Dip it in the cold water. Let's try again. Also be that my hands are getting too warm. Normally, if my hands are getting too warm or the clay is getting sticky, I have a little container by my side of cornstarch because I can dip my fingers in that and it kind of acts like a little bit of a barrier. I do not have that with me today, so there we go. We got it. So what I'll do is I'll cook these little tickle horns separately. And then let go of my finger. Yeah, my hands are too warm. My hands are too warm, and the translucent Sculpey is not pudding clay necessarily, but definitely very soft. So there we go. That's a little more size I wanted. I'll cook those, and I'll put 2 little kind of pilot holes. Get my spacing right. And once those are baked, I can push them. I could actually put a little dab of liquid Sculpey in there and then push them in. And there we go. There is our little jackalope friend. Oh, come here, buddy. And I'll make a nice little air plant holder. I feel like I want to do a Kraken next. It would be very appropriate with one of the Medusa air plants, but I do believe I'm going to save that for next time. Thank you to anyone swinging by and visiting and hanging out. Thank you, as always, for your support of the channel. And I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their Friday, a marvelous weekend, and stay warm, stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.